and welcome to Tapping Prayerfully. I'm Jeanne, folks, and I'm very glad you're here today. And we've started Lent. Now, in the Christian tradition, Lent is a time of self-reflection, of evaluating our lives and our choices, of questioning our excesses and trying to release them, and embracing simplicity. And many people over the centuries who have appreciated the season of Lent as they prepare for the Easter feast is to give up something. And for many of us that practice the Christian tradition, it becomes very legalistic and sacrificial and not necessarily very helpful. Oh, it's Lent, so I mustn't eat chocolate. Or it's Lent and I gave up coffee. Or, it's Lent, so we can't have pancakes for breakfast. Whatever it is. And I'd like to invite us to explore the possibility of a more spiritually oriented and growthful orientation towards the celebration and quiet investigation of our spiritual lives during the Lenten season. I've tried many things over the years. One year and it was before the real technological age when it was really impossible to give up screens completely because we have to have our emails and our phones. But I certainly gave up television one Lent, just as much as a scientific experiment to see what would happen and how I'd experience than to make a sacrificial gesture. Other years I tried to give up noise. I kept my life as quiet as I could possibly make it. Other years I've certainly given up various kinds of food. I know one year was very challenging but deeply meaningful to me. I gave up the flavor of sweet. So that meant not only getting rid of sugar, but also artificial sweeteners, but even foods that were very sweet in their own nature. So that I gave up most fruit, I gave up peas and carrots, and just ate the more savory fruits and vegetables, and nuts and beans and brown rice. And what I hadn't expected was that I actually began, after getting over a huge difficult hump, I actually began to experience a sense of relief, that there was a simplicity about it. And as the cravings left, and as I got more in touch with the natural rhythm of hunger, in some ways, what I had thought would be a great Lenten spiritual challenge turned into having some hidden gifts for me that I learned a lot from. So, if you are this far into Lent and you already feel troubled or discouraged by the commitment you tried to make that you feel like you're having trouble sticking to, maybe just readjust it a little bit. Allow it to be gentler, allow it to be more of an investigation, and allow it to be an act of love more than an act of sacrifice. Just to see what's on the other side of removing something from your life that could actually bring simplicity and relief to you in an unexpected way. So let's tap on that a little bit. Here we go. Even though it's Lent and I have a lot of expectations on myself, I deeply and completely accept myself exactly where I am. Even though Lent has always been a struggle for me, and I have a lot of supposed to's about it, the things I'm supposed to do, and all the things I'm not supposed to do, lots of rules, I accept myself exactly where I am. even though I struggle around Lent, and I always wind up feeling like I fail, and that I can't get it right, and that I condemn myself for having no spiritual discipline, and I wind up feeling like I always get into trouble during Lent. And in spite of all of that, I choose in this moment to view myself with compassion and kindness and forgiveness. And up to eyebrow. This season of Lent, it's complicated for me. I've tried so many different things, and some years it works out better than others. But I always wind up struggling so much and feeling like I fail. And feeling like I'm a spiritual lightweight and I can't get it right. And so some years I just try to ignore it. And then I feel kind of funny at Easter. And then I just feel bad about myself all over again. And I'm open to the possibility of doing Lent in a more gentle way this year. Starting over from right where I am. Breathing into mercy and compassion. And opening myself to curious investigation. Is there something in my life that I'm actually curious about? What would it be like if that thing or that habit or that practice was just gone from my life for a little while? What would change? What would be different for me? I can't know unless I try. And I'm open to that possibility. Like opening a new door and allowing God to speak to me in a new way. And whatever that thing is that's occurring to me right now, whether it's a commitment to keep a healthy bedtime, or to write in my journal every day, or give up a certain food or a certain flavor, or to write a loving email each day between now and Easter to encourage a friend. There's so many possibilities. And I receive the one that's occurring to me now. And I open to that practice. I open to that practice as an act of love, as an invitation to maturity and wisdom, as a commitment to investigate something new and deeper about my own spiritual truth. And I choose to view this decision as a gift to myself and as an act of love in my relationship with God. And I ask God's help and guidance and His support as I walk this journey of growth and insight. And take a deep breath. And for those of you who like to do it, do a little rain on the top of your head if you like that EFT point. And just rest. Allow this to not be hard. Allow it to be gently challenging, instructive, and ennobling inside of you. I wish you a holy and sacred Lent, and I will be talking to you soon as Easter approaches.